Let's go. How is that for a statement victory? The Buffalo Bills squished the fish 35-0. 35-0. The Buffalo Bills defeated the Miami Dolphins, the division rivals. I expected this to be a much closer game. My score prediction was 38-21 before this game began. And I was surprised to see this level of dominance from the Buffalo Bills. Pleasantly surprised to see this level of dominance from the Bills. Wow. There was a bunch of Dolphins fans in my Friday night preview, my Friday night forecast previewing this game, and they were calling that show, they were calling that a 0-2 Buffalo Bills hype video. Where are you now? Keep that same energy. Where are you now? You just got defeated 35-0. Where are you? You're not here. I'm not surprised. Whatever. The Bills took care of business today. The Buffalo Bills were the better team in every asset of this game. You can look offensively, defensively, special teams. Every single place you look, the Bills were better. The Buffalo Bills defense was stellar, on point today. They forced 3 turnovers. They forced 3 fumbles, 2 of which they recovered, and they had an interception. That interception being from Levi Wallace, and that pick was big. I'd love to see that from Levi Wallace. He made up for a couple plays prior to that when he took a taunting penalty. It gave the Miami Dolphins a fresh set of downs, and they were driving down the field at that point. Levi Wallace makes a pick, a game-changing play, and that gave the Bills even more momentum. You'd love to see someone right their wrongs. Another person that did that in this game was Zach Moss. He was out last week. He was scratched before the game started, and that was a surprise to a lot of people. And then on the first drive where he's really being featured in this game, he fumbles the football. He coughs it up. It's not looking too good for Zach Moss at that point. He's kind of in the doghouse until later in the game, and in the fourth quarter, he made up for those wrongs. He made right on his wrongs there. He converted for 2 touchdowns. He rushed the football for 2 touchdowns. Short yardage situation running back. That's what he's here for. Devin Singletary looked great in this game again. Averaged over 6 yards per carry again. Back-to-back weeks he's done so. And he's looking more and more like he did in his rookie season, which is great. And I think that the Buffalo Bills, the way that they've been running the football this effectively, it's going to be very difficult to stop this offense. Last season, we were talking about how great this offense was and how the offense slings the football down the field. But if you can add that rushing attack to this offense, like we've seen from the Bills through the first 2 weeks of the season, this offense is going to be potent, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to game plan for. Fantastic victory. Squishing the fish. Let's go. So that Bills defense with a big shutout in this game. 6 sacks. You'd love to see that. 6 sacks from the Bills. The quarterbacks in Miami were under constant duress in this game. 6 sacks, 3 of those coming from your defensive front. You have Justin Zimmer. Gregory Rousseau got his first career sack in this game. AJ Epinesa had a sack. And then 3 of those sacks also came from your defensive secondary. So a lot of interesting blitzes in this game from the secondary. And you have sacks, not only from the secondary, but also up front. Everyone's contributing. You have 3 turnovers you forced, and that trickled over the special teams as well. Last week in week 1, we saw how detrimental that can be to a team's success. When the football was the blocked punt happened against the Bills in week 1, and then they forced a turnover, forced Jalen Waddle to cough up that football on a punt return, and they take advantage of that. So that's great to see. The Bills' defense was stellar in this game. Matt Milano. Matt Milano's always out there making plays. And yeah, another big play by Matt Milano today. He was fantastic. He was all over the place. Tua Tagovailoa left this game in the first quarter with an injury. He only threw four attempts. I heard on the broadcast that it is apparently a rib injury, and you never want to see that. No matter who it is, no matter what team they play for, you never want to see someone go with an injury, especially this early in the season. So, wishing him a speedy recovery. Hopefully, he doesn't miss too much time. That's scary for the Miami Dolphins for sure. Tua Tagovailoa leaving the game in the first quarter. That's a big concern if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. Jacoby Brissett, I didn't think he looked too bad in this game, but I think that really limits what the Miami Dolphins offense can do without Tua. Jacoby Brissett doesn't have that connection with Jalen Waddle from Alabama that Tua Tagovailoa does. That was part of the. I think that had a significant impact on the Dolphins selecting Jalen Waddle as the receiver. It's like, hey, we have a connection already. It makes sense to go with him when he has that chemistry. But now that takes that chemistry away. So it'll be interesting to see how this Dolphins offense looks without Tua if he misses time. Meanwhile, the Bills offense, it was great. The Bills offense was great. It was firing on all cylinders. A lot of touchdowns in this game. 35 zip game. The Bills had 5 touchdowns out here. Devin Singletary made an impact early on just the second play of the game. He had a 46-yard touchdown run. He found a lane and he was gone instantly. Motor. Devin Singletary looking like he did in his rookie season when he was tied for first in the NFL with Derrick Henry for yards per carry by a running back. So Devin Singletary, he's a promising young running back, and if he can perform the way he has through the first 2 weeks, averaging over six yards per carry, Bills offense is in good shape. Stephon Diggs had a 5-yard touchdown reception, and that came just a few plays after Emmanuel Sanders was targeted deep downfield. We've seen Emmanuel Sanders pushing the envelope. He's been deep downfield a lot. In week 1, there was that significant overthrow from Josh Allen, deep ball towards Emmanuel Sanders. And we saw him connect with Emmanuel Sanders on a deep ball here today. I think Sanders is the wide receiver 2 of this offense. He's lining up on the outside a lot, and he will be having a lot of deep routes. He could be a potential nice stream based off of matchups in fantasy. Fantasy football this season, Emmanuel Sanders might be a nice addition to any team just because of the targets he's receiving are so far down the field. And when Josh Allen connects with Emmanuel Sanders on those, more often than not, they're going to go for a touchdown. And so, yeah, Singletary and Diggs with the touchdowns in the first half, 14-0 going into halftime. And then on the other side of half, the Bills put 3 more touchdowns on the board. Dawson Knox with a quick start. First drive of the second half, Dawson Knox, 8-yard touchdown reception from Josh Allen. And Zach Moss with those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter that made up for the fumble early on in the game. And I like seeing some Zach Moss in the game. I like what he brings to a team. That smash mouth running type of football. I like what he brings to an offense. And this team was great today. It was a team victory. It wasn't just one player that shined. You had touchdowns from 4 different players. And Josh Allen, he had a good game. He had a good game here. 17 of 33, 179 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and then he rushed the ball 6 times for 40 yards. So historically, he's been great against Miami. He continued that here today. Another nice victory against the Miami Dolphins. Sean McDermott's record against the Miami Dolphins is now 8-1. Josh Allen's 6-1 against the Dolphins. And this was the biggest shutout victory that the Bills have had against the Dolphins dating all the way back to 1966. The Buffalo Bills have squished the fish today and recently. I don't know what it is about the Miami Dolphins, but when Josh Allen and the Bills line up against them, they turn it up to the next notch. They turn it up to the next notch against the Miami Dolphins, and you'd love to see that against an AFC East rival. We had pass rush. Yeah, Gregory Rousseau, that rookie, looked great out there today. AJ Epinesa was making things happen. Justin Zimmer got in that on the action with a fumble as well, or got in on the action with a sack as well. And then in the defensive secondary, you had 3 sacks from them as well. So all around, getting pressure on the quarterbacks, not giving them enough time to throw the football, that's key to success, and that's something that the Bills were really slacking last season. They didn't have anyone who had more than they didn't have anyone with 6 sacks last year. Mario Addison and Jerry Hughes were the leaders on this team in sacks with 5.5, and that's not going to cut it in the NFL. The Bills, I wouldn't be surprised if Gregory Rousseau was the team leader in sacks this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he surpassed those totals that Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison posted last year. Gregory Rousseau's looked great, and he had his first career sack here today. So, promising young prospect, and I like the impact he's made early on. A lot of people said he's going to take time to groom and develop, and I believe he will. But I really think he's got a high ceiling because based off of what I've seen early on in his career, he's still not a finished product, and he's only getting better. It's nice to see what we've seen from Gregory Rousseau. And then the Bills' defense as a whole was fantastic today, pitching that shutout, squishing the fish, 35 zip. Let's go. Let's go, Buffalo. Feels great. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button, hit the notification bell to be notified every time new content's being released on the Bills Bunker. I'm going to have a lot of stuff coming out here throughout the season. Friday night forecasts every single week, previewing the matchup on Sundays. I'll have post-game shows and the Buffalo Bills fan reaction series, reading stupid comments. And then I'll have some other stuff throughout the season as well. News, injury updates, that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. Check out other content on the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I'm your guy, Jake. Thank you for watching the Bills Bunker post-game show.